The massive alien ship hung in Earth's orbit like a silver tear. Inside the United Nations meeting hall, Commander Lisa Harper adjusted her uniform collar for the 5th time in 10 minutes. This was it. First contact with the Galactic Council. "They're ready for us," said her aide. Lisa nodded and walked toward the conference room. Her heart beat fast, but her face stayed calm. 20 years in the Earth Defense Force had taught her how to hide fear. The doors slid open. 3 aliens sat on the other side of the long table. The one in the middle was tall with smooth blue skin and 4 arms. Lisa recognized Ambassador Zekthul from the video messages. "Commander Harper," the alien said, its translator device making the words sound flat. "We welcome Earth to the galactic community." Lisa sat down across from them. "Thank you, Ambassador. Earth is honored to join you." The alien to Zekthul's right began tapping on a clear tablet. It had green scales and yellow eyes that never blinked. "Fascinating readings," it said. "The contradictions are even more pronounced in person." Lisa frowned. "Contradictions? Ambassador?" Zekthul made a gesture that might have been a shrug. "You must understand, Commander, that in our thousands of years exploring space, we have found that sentient species fall into clear categories based on their evolution. Prey species evolved from herbivores. They are cautious, diplomatic, and avoid conflict. Predator species evolved from carnivores. They are aggressive, territorial, and solve problems through dominance. Balanced species evolved from omnivores. They show traits of both but lack the extremes." "And humans don't fit?" Lisa asked. "Not at all," said the 3rd alien, who had feathers and a bird-like face. "Your species shows extreme predator traits. Your endurance, pack bonding, and ability to chase prey until it collapses from exhaustion mark you as apex hunters. Yet you also show compassion, creativity, and complex social structures that contradict predator psychology." Lisa wasn't sure if this was good or bad. "Is that a problem?" The green alien looked up from its tablet. "It is a puzzle. Your military training shows predator precision. Your body language shows predator alertness. Yet here you sit, talking peacefully instead of establishing dominance. Most confusing." Ambassador Zekthul leaned forward. "What truly baffles us is your species' habit of producing strange vocal sounds and facial expressions in response to what you call humor. No predator species we have encountered has developed this trait." Just then, Lisa's aide entered and whispered something in her ear. She couldn't help but smile. "Something amuses you?" asked Zekthul. "My aide just told me that our president was so nervous about meeting you that he put his formal jacket on backward and had to be corrected before coming here." The alien stared at her in silence. "It's funny because he's our leader but made a simple mistake that made him look silly," Lisa explained. "You find weakness in your alpha figure amusing rather than opportunity?" the feathered alien asked, clearly confused. "It's not about weakness," Lisa said. "It's about being human. We all make mistakes." The green alien made notes. "This response defies predator psychology. A predator would never express enjoyment at leader vulnerability." "Ambassador." Zekthul's forearms moved in a complex pattern. "Commander Harper, we came here expecting to meet either dangerous predators to be cautious of, or potential prey to be protected. Instead, we find something our science has no category for. You hunt like apex predators, but create art like prey. Species seeking beauty. You fight wars with terrible weapons yet risk your lives to save strangers. And most puzzling of all, you laugh. You experience this humor in situations of both comfort and danger." Lisa smiled again. "Well, Ambassador, humans have always been full of surprises. I hope that's a good thing in galactic politics." "It is certainly interesting," Zekthul replied. "The Council will want to study your people extensively. You may be the first truly new thing our civilization has encountered in 1,000 years." As the meeting continued, Lisa couldn't help thinking that humanity's place in the stars might depend not on our strength or technology, but on our jokes, the one thing the aliens couldn't understand at all. Dr. Alan Winters watched through the one-way glass as the soldiers ran the obstacle course. Next to him, the alien scientist Vexpora made clicking sounds with her 4-part mouth as she took notes. Look at them, Alan said. Marine Squad 7, best in the Pacific Division. The 6 men and women crawled under barbed wire, leaped over walls, and helped each other across deep mud pits. Their faces showed focus and determination. Pure predator behavior, said Vexpora, her translator device hanging from her neck. The way they move in perfect sync, watching for danger, protecting the group. Alan nodded. Then one of the Marines slipped in the mud and fell face first into the water. Instead of anger or shame, the Marine laughed, and soon the whole squad was laughing too, even as they pulled their teammate up and kept going. Vexapora's antenna twitched. And then, that happens. Why do they make those sounds when one fails? It breaks all rules of predator response. For 3 weeks now, Vexapora and her team had been studying humans at the Earth University Research Center. The Galactic Council was determined to understand why humans did not fit their categories. Alan, as head of xenobiology, had been assigned to work with them. It's called laughter, Alan explained. It's how we release tension and bond with each other. But from an evolutionary perspective, it makes no sense, Vexpora said. When a pack hunter fails, the pack should abandon it or show dominance, not make these strange sounds. Alan guided the alien researcher to the next observation room, where a hospital emergency room was simulated. Doctors and nurses worked to save a patient dummy during a mock emergency. Look at our medical teams, Alan said. See how focused they are, how they fight against death. It's like predators on a hunt. The medical team moved with precision around the patient. The lead doctor called out orders, and the others responded instantly. Their hands never shook. Their voices stayed calm. Yes, Vexpora agreed. The intensity, the coordination. Classic apex behavior. Then the crisis passed. The patient was stable. One of the nurses made a comment, and suddenly the whole team was smiling and joking. But then this. Vexpora's voice carried confusion. They switched from hunter to something else. Something no other species does. They moved to the final observation room where children played in a classroom. Our young, Alan said. Watch how they interact. The children played a game of tag, chasing each other with the speed and focus of little predators. But when one child was tagged instead of being rejected, there was laughter, and the game continued with a new child doing the chasing. In every other predator species we've studied, Vexpora said, young compete for dominance. They establish hierarchy. They do not play with such joy. Alan smiled. We think humor might be what made us different on Earth. Our ancestors were hunters, yes, but they were also vulnerable. They weren't the strongest or fastest. They needed each other to survive. Vexapora's compound eyes focused on the children. And laughter helped with this? How? It relieved tension, prevented fights within the group, helped us bond. A joke at the right moment could turn potential conflict into connection. The alien scientist was quiet for a long time. Then she said, So humor is not just a strange behavior. It might be your evolutionary advantage? The thing that let your species become dominant on your world despite not being the strongest? We think so, Alan said. It's the bridge between our predator instincts and our need to cooperate. No other Earth species developed it quite like we did. Vexapora made more notes on her tablet. The Council will find this very interesting. A predator species that developed a unique social bonding mechanism unknown in the galaxy. This changes our understanding of evolutionary paths. As they left the observation rooms, Alan heard the children laughing behind them. To him, it was just the normal sound of human joy. But to the aliens, it was the most mysterious sound in the universe, the sound of predators who had somehow learned to turn aggression into connection through the strange magic of humor. The meeting room felt too cold. Commander Lisa Harper watched as Lieutenant Paul Rodriguez shifted in his seat. The treaty talks with the Tralxian delegation had gone on for hours, and everyone was tired. The Tralxians were small aliens with large eyes and quick, nervous movements. They were classic prey species according to the Galactic Council's categories. Their home world was rich in rare minerals that Earth needed. In return, they wanted human protection against more aggressive species. Ambassador Zakathul of the Council sat between the two groups, acting as mediator. The blue-skinned alien looked concerned as the talks dragged on. "Perhaps we should take a break," Lisa suggested. The lead Tralxian, Minister Ept, shook his head. His translator device converted his high-pitched sounds to English. "We must finish today. Our ship cannot stay longer." Rodriguez leaned toward Lisa. "At this rate, we'll be here until next Tuesday. These guys move slower than my grandma with a walker." He meant it as a quiet joke, but the room's translation system picked up his words and broadcast them to everyone. The Tralxian's large eyes grew even wider. Minister Ept stood up suddenly, knocking over his chair. "Threat. Predator threat," Ept squeaked. "They mock our speed and compare us to weak elders." Rodriguez looked confused. "What? No, I was just—" "They speak of hunting us," another Tralxian cried. "Walking behind us as we try to escape." Lisa stood up quickly. "There's been a misunderstanding. Lieutenant Rodriguez was making a joke. It wasn't a threat." But the Tralxians were backing away, their bodies trembling. Ambassador Zakathul moved between the groups, all four arms raised in a calming gesture. "Perhaps we need Dr. Winters here," Zakathul said. "He can explain human humor." Lisa nodded and called for Alan to come immediately. When he arrived 10 minutes later, the Tralxians were huddled in the corner of the room, refusing to sit at the table. "What happened?" Alan asked. Lisa explained quickly. Alan sighed and approached the frightened alien slowly. "Minister Ept," he said gently, "what you heard was a form of human communication called humor. It was not a threat. Lieutenant Rodriguez was expressing mild frustration through exaggeration, not aggression." Ept's translator converted his nervous squeaks. "We have reviewed human behavior videos. We have seen your sports where you chase and tackle each other for entertainment. We have seen your military exercises. You are predators who enjoy the chase." "That's not what the joke meant," Rodriguez tried to explain. But at that moment, the door opened and Council security entered carrying tablets. The lead officer, a reptilian alien, approached Zakathul. "Ambassador, we have concerns. Our routine security scan found this footage from the human ship." The officer played a video on the large screen. It showed human crew members playing basketball in the ship's gym. They jumped, blocked each other, and competed intensely for the ball. The Tralxians made high-pitched sounds of fear. "See? They practice hunting for pleasure," EPT said. "And they invited us to their ship tomorrow." Lisa felt the treaty slipping away. "That's just a game, it's not hunting." Dr. Winters stepped forward. "Minister Ept, yes, humans have predator instincts, but our evolution took a unique path. We developed something no other predator has: empathy and humor. These traits let us channel our competitive drive into games instead of real violence." "Impossible," said Epter. "No predator developed such traits." "But we did," Alan insisted. "That's what makes humans unique in the galaxy. We can be fierce competitors in one moment and compassionate allies in the next." Lieutenant Rodriguez's joke wasn't a threat. It was actually a way to release tension and avoid real conflict. Ambassador Zakathul studied the humans carefully. The Tralxians fear what they don't understand. Perhaps a demonstration would help. "What kind of demonstration?" Lisa asked. "Show them how humans use your unique traits for cooperation, not just competition," Zakathul suggested. "Show them why a prey species should trust the predator that laughs." Lisa looked at Alan and Rodriguez. The treaty, and perhaps humanity's place in the galactic community, now depended on their ability to explain the strangest human trait of all: how humor made a dangerous species safe to others. Officer Diane Nelson stood at the starting line of the massive stadium. Around her, aliens of many species prepared for the first event of the galactic tournament. Some had 6 legs, others had wings, and a few moved on what looked like slime trails. All of them kept their distance from Diane and the other humans. After the treaty problem with the Tralxians, the Galactic Council had invited Earth to join their tournament. It was a chance to show the galaxy what humans could do, and hopefully prove they weren't just dangerous predators. Remember, Commander Harper had told the team, this isn't just about winning. It's about showing who we really are. A tall, thin alien with silver skin approached Diane. It was Lox, the Valaran runner who had won the last 3 tournaments. Human, Lox said through his translator, I have studied your species. You will not win this endurance race. Valarans evolved to run for days without stopping. Diane smiled. Good luck to you too. Lox blinked his large eyes. You show teeth. Is this a threat display? No, Diane said, still smiling. It's a friendly gesture. May the best runner win. The starting signal blared. 50 runners from 30 different species took off across the rough terrain. The course was 30 miles long with obstacles, hills, and water crossings. Diane paced herself while others sprinted ahead. By mile 10, many runners had stopped. The Valarans, with their long legs, were far ahead. Diane kept her steady pace, drinking water at each station. At mile 20, she caught up to Lox, who was now moving slowly. His silver skin had a dull look. Are you okay? Diane asked as she passed him. Lox looked surprised. Why would you care? I am your competitor. Because you're struggling. That matters more than winning. Lox didn't understand, but he kept running. By mile 25, only 10 runners remained on the course. Diane was now in 3rd place behind 2 Valarans. Her legs hurt and her lungs burned, but she kept going. The human ability to sweat gave her an advantage as the day grew hotter. She passed the 2nd Valaran, who had collapsed from heat exhaustion. Ahead, Lox was slowing down even more. Diane could easily pass him now, but she saw he was limping. What happened? She asked when she reached him. Foot injury, Lox said. You should pass me now, take your victory. Instead, Diane slowed down. Is it bad? Do you need medical help? Lox stared at her. Why would you stop? You are a predator species. You should take advantage of my weakness. Diane shrugged. That's not how humans compete. Here, lean on me if you need to. Together they crossed the finish line, Lox first, Diane second. The crowd of aliens watched in confusion as Diane helped Lox to the medical area before accepting her silver medal. Later, in the Earth team's quarters, Commander Harper found Diane. The council representatives want to talk to you, Harper said. They can't figure out why you helped Lox instead of winning. It seemed like the right thing to do, Diane said. In the meeting room, 5 council members waited. Ambassador Zekthul spoke first. Officer Nelson, your behavior today has confused many species. In the wild, predators take advantage of injured prey. They do not help rivals. Diane nodded. Humans evolved as predators, yes. But we also evolved to care for our group. Over time, we expanded who we see as our group to include others, even competitors. A reptilian council member leaned forward. And the strange vocal noises your team made during the weightlifting competition? When your teammate failed to lift the weight? You mean the laughter? Diane asked. That's how we keep our spirits up when things go wrong. It relieves tension. Most fascinating, said Zekthul. Tomorrow is the team competition. We will be watching closely to see more of these contradictions. As Diane left the meeting, she knew the tournament was about more than medals. It was humanity's chance to show the galaxy that being a predator with a sense of humor wasn't a contradiction. It was their greatest strength. Red alert sirens blared through the Earth ship USS Defender. Admiral Steve Gordon rushed to the bridge where his crew worked at their stations with calm focus. Report, Gordon ordered. Sir, 3 Vexcar battle cruisers just entered the system, said his first officer. They've already attacked the Galactic Council outpost on Rigel 7. Gordon looked at the screen showing the enemy ships. The Vexcar horde had been attacking Council space for months. They were tall, muscular aliens with thick armor-like skin and sharp teeth, pure predators who lived for conquest. Open a channel to Council Command, Gordon said. Ambassador Zekthul's blue face appeared on screen. The alien looked worried. Admiral Gordon, the Vexcar have never attacked this far into Council space before. They must be getting bolder. Or desperate, Gordon said. What do we know about their tactics? Sikthul's four hands moved nervously. They use psychological warfare based on evolutionary instincts. With prey species, they use intimidation displays to cause panic. With predator species, they challenge them directly to prove dominance. And how do they usually succeed? Gordon asked. Prey species surrender without fighting. Predator species fight one-on-one battles they cannot win. The Vexcar have conquered 12 systems this way. No species has found an effective defense against their methods. Gordon nodded. Well, they haven't met humans yet. Prepare for battle. The USS Defender moved into position with two other Earth ships. Gordon addressed his crew over the intercom. All hands, this is the Admiral. We face an enemy that thinks they understand predators and prey, but they've never encountered a species like ours. Remember your training, trust your teammates, and let's show them what humans can do. A crew member called out, Sir, they're hailing us. On screen, Gordon ordered. The Vexcar commander appeared. He was huge with mottled red skin and black eyes. His translator converted his growls to words. Weak species, I am War Chief Krasitk. Surrender your ships or be destroyed. You cannot match our strength. Gordon smiled slightly. This is Admiral Steve Gordon of Earth. We're not interested in surrendering today. Perhaps another time. The Vexcar looked confused by Gordon's calm tone. You dare joke in the face of your destruction? I will enjoy breaking your species. Many have tried, Gordon replied. Now we can fight if you want. Or we could discuss terms that don't involve conquest. Your choice. Krasitk snarled. There will be no discussion. Prepare to be boarded. The screen went dark. Gordon turned to his crew. They're using standard intimidation tactics. They expect us to either cower like prey or charge in recklessly like predators. We'll do neither. Tactical, prepare for defensive. Pattern echo. Communication, send the joke files. His officers looked at each other in surprise but followed orders. The communications officer sent a special data packet to the Vexcar ships. On the enemy vessels, the Vexcar warriors were confused as their communication systems began playing human comedy, jokes, funny stories, and scenes from comedy movies. They had expected frightened pleas or angry threats, not this strange behavior. When the Vexcar ships moved to attack, they found the Earth vessels using unusual formations. Instead of running away like prey or attacking head-on like predators, the human ships used complex patterns that made them hard to target. What is this strategy? Krasitk demanded. They fight like neither prey nor predator. In the battle that followed, the Earth ships took damage but held their ground. When a Vexcar cruiser targeted the Council outpost with civilians, Gordon's ship moved to protect it, taking heavy hits. Why do they defend the weak? Krasitk growled. It makes no evolutionary sense. After an hour of fighting, the Vexcar retreated, confused by tactics they couldn't categorize. On the Defender's damaged bridge, despite injuries and smoking consoles, Gordon's crew cheered and some even laughed with relief. Ambassador Zakthul called again. Admiral, no species has ever repelled a Vexcar attack force before. How did you do it? Gordon looked around at his smiling, determined crew. By being what they couldn't understand, Ambassador. Predators who care, fighters who joke, hunters who protect. That's the human way. Zekathul was silent for a moment. Perhaps your species is exactly what the galaxy needs right now, Captain. Grace Williams checked her oxygen level one more time. Her small team floated in space near the outer hull of the massive Vexcar command ship. The four humans wore special stealth suits that hid them from enemy sensors. Everyone remember the plan? Grace asked over the secure comm channel. Get in, steal their battle plans, get out, said Frank Martinez, the team's communications expert. And try not to die. Olivia Wright, the tactical officer, rolled her eyes. Thanks for that helpful summary, Frank. Just keeping things light, Frank replied with a grin inside his helmet. The fourth team member, Sam Lewis, was already working on the airlock controls. His fingers moved quickly despite the bulky space gloves. After the first battle with the Vexcar, The Galactic Council had asked for human help. The Council's normal spies, mostly from prey species, were too afraid to infiltrate Vexcar ships. And spies from predator species were too aggressive, always getting caught when they tried to fight their way out of trouble. "Got it," Sam whispered, as the airlock opened silently. The team slipped inside. After the airlock cycled, they found themselves in a dim red corridor. The air smelled like metal and something else, something animal. "Life signs?" Grace asked. Olivia checked her scanner. 2 guards at the end of this hallway, 4 more in the command center where we need to go. Grace nodded. "Remember, we're not here to fight if we can avoid it. The Council wants information on the Vexcar fleet movements." They moved silently through the ship. The Vexcar were large, muscular aliens who lived for combat. Their ships were designed like ancient fortresses, all sharp angles and exposed weapons. When they reached the first guards, Grace signaled for the team to wait. The 2 Vexcar warriors stood alert, their scaled skin reflecting the red lights. "Any ideas?" Grace asked her team. Frank smiled. "I think it's time for a joke." Before anyone could stop him, he pulled a small device from his belt and tossed it down the corridor. It landed with a soft click. "What are you doing?" Olivia hissed. "Trust me," Frank said. The device activated, projecting a hologram of a small, fluffy Earth rabbit. The rabbit hopped around, making soft noises. The guards stared, in confusion. While they were distracted, Grace led the team through a side passage. They reached the command center without being spotted. "That was stupid," Olivia whispered to Frank. "What if they had attacked the hologram?" "They wouldn't," Frank said. "I studied their psychology. Vexcar don't know how to respond to something that's neither threat nor prey." The rabbit confused them. Inside the command center, 4 Vexcar officers worked at control stations. A large display showed star maps with fleet positions marked. "We need to download that data," Grace said. "Olivia, can you access their system?" Olivia nodded. "Cover me." While she worked, a Vexcar officer suddenly turned toward them. He stared right at where they were hiding, though their stealth suits should have kept them invisible. "He can smell us," Sam whispered. "Their sense of smell is better than their eyesight." The Vexcar growled something to his companions. All 4 began moving toward the human's position. "I need more time," Olivia said, still copying the fleet data. Grace looked at Frank. "Another distraction?" Frank grinned. "One predator joke coming up." He activated his suit's external speaker and played a sound file, the loud roar of an Earth lion followed by human laughter. The Vexcar froze, totally confused by the mixed signals. A predator's roar should be followed by an attack, not by the strange noise humans made when amused. While the aliens hesitated, Olivia finished the download. "Got it." The team retreated, using the Vexcar's confusion to escape. As alarms finally began to sound, they reached the airlock and slipped back into space. Safe aboard their shuttle, Grace reviewed the stolen data. "This is bigger than we thought," she said grimly. "They're planning to attack the Council homeworld in 3 days." Frank nodded, serious now. "At least we got the information. I told you humor could be a tactical advantage." Olivia shook her head but smiled. "I still can't believe we escaped a Vexcar command ship by confusing them with rabbit holograms and lion roars." "That's what makes humans special," Grace said as they headed back to the fleet. "We can think like predators but act unpredictably. We're the galaxy's ultimate contradiction, the dangerous species that can laugh at danger." Dr. Alan Winters stared at the data on his screen. For weeks, he and Vexpora had studied human behavior, trying to understand what made humanity unique in the galaxy. Now, with the Vexcar threat growing, their research had taken on new urgency. "Look at this brain scan," Alan said, pointing to the colorful image. "This is a human watching something funny." Vexpora leaned closer, her 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Multiple brain regions activate simultaneously. "Exactly. The language centers process the joke. The problem-solving areas understand the punchline, and the reward centers release feel-good chemicals." Alan scrolled to another image. And here's a human in a dangerous situation. Similar activation patterns, Vexapora noted with surprise. But why? Alan smiled. Because humor and danger both create tension that needs release. Early humans who could laugh in stressful situations had an advantage. They could think more clearly, bond with their group, and solve problems even when afraid. In the next room, Commander Harper met with Ambassador Zikthul and 5 other council representatives. After Captain Williams's team had stolen the Vexcar battle plans, the council had been in constant meetings. The Vexcar will attack in less than 2 days, Harper said. Their main fleet is heading for the council homeworld. A reptilian council, member hissed. We should evacuate. Our defenses cannot stop them. Running won't work, Harper replied. They'll just keep coming. We need to stand and fight. Easy for you to say, said a small, furry representative from a prey species. Your kind evolved for conflict. Most council worlds did not. Alan and Vexapora entered the room just in time to hear this exchange. Vexapora stepped forward, her posture formal. Honored Council Dr. Winters and I have completed our research on human evolutionary psychology. Our findings may help us defeat the Vexcar. The council members turned to her with interest. The Vexcar succeed because they exploit predictable evolutionary responses, Vexapora explained. Prey species run, predator species fight head-on. Both responses lead to defeat, Alan continued. But humans don't follow either pattern. Our research shows that humans took a unique evolutionary path. They developed high-level predatory skills but also complex social cooperation. Normally, these traits would conflict with each other. So how did humans resolve this conflict? Zikithul asked. Humor, Alan said simply. Our ancestors developed humor as a bridge between these contradictory needs. Humor allowed early humans to release tension, avoid internal conflicts, and maintain group cohesion despite having aggressive predator instincts. Vexapora activated a holographic display showing human history. Human humor evolved from a simple tension release mechanism into a complex social tool. It lets humans acknowledge danger while reducing its psychological impact. It allows them to compete without destroying their social bonds. It helps them stay calm and think clearly when threatened. The council members looked skeptical. The reptilian spoke first. This is fascinating research, but how does it help us against the Vexcar? Commander Harper smiled. Because the Vexcar don't understand us. Their tactics work on species with predictable evolutionary responses. But humans are evolutionary chimeras. We combine traits that shouldn't exist together. That confuses them. And confusion creates opportunity, added Vexapora. The Vexacar expect either submission or direct confrontation. They don't know how to handle humans who can laugh at danger, who can be fierce yet compassionate, who can switch between aggression and cooperation seamlessly. A soft chime sounded, indicating an incoming message. Ambassador Zikthul checked the alert on his device. Admiral Gordon's fleet has arrived, he announced. They've brought 20 Earth ships to help defend the Council homeworld. Not just ships, Harper said. We've brought a new strategy based on what we've learned about ourselves and the Vexcar. Alan nodded. For millions of years, humans have been evolving into something the galaxy has never seen before. Predators with empathy, hunters with humor, warriors who protect rather than dominate. Now it's time to use our unique nature against an enemy that cannot understand us. As the council members filed out to meet Admiral Gordon, Vexapora turned to Alan. Your species truly is a cosmic enigma. Let us hope that is enough to save us all. Admiral Steve Gordon stood on the bridge of the USS Defender. Through the main view screen, he could see the massive Vexcar fleet approaching, 50 warships, against 30 Council and human vessels. All ships report ready, sir, said his first officer. Gordon nodded. Open a channel to all Allied ships. When the connection was made, Gordon spoke clearly. This is Admiral Gordon. Today we face an enemy that thinks they understand us. The Vexcar believe all species follow their evolutionary programming. Prey run, predators fight foolishly. But we're going to show them something new. Each ship has received special tactics based on what we've learned about human nature. Trust your training, work together, and remember, sometimes the best weapon is the unexpected. Good luck to us all. On the Council flagship, Commander Lisa Harper and Dr. Alan Winters watched as the Allied fleet moved into position. Various Council species had been skeptical about the human battle plan, but they had no better options. "Do you think this will work?" Lisa asked quietly. Alan smiled. "The Vexcar expect either fear or aggression. What they'll get is something they've never seen before." The Vexcar fleet launched its first attack wave. Their ships moved in tight formation, broadcasting intimidation signals, sounds and images designed to trigger fear in prey species and aggressive responses in predators. But the Allied ships didn't follow either pattern. Instead of panicking or charging in, they moved in fluid, unpredictable patterns. Human ships led the way, demonstrating tactics that mixed aggression with restraint, direct attacks with clever feints. On his command ship, War Chief Krasik growled in frustration. "Why don't they respond properly? The prey species should be retreating." His tactical officer looked confused. "They aren't, War Chief. They're laughing." Through the communication channels, the Vexcar could hear human laughter mixed with battle commands. The sound was disturbing to the Vexcar, who couldn't understand how anyone could laugh while fighting for their lives. In the Council control room, Vexpora watched the battle unfolding on the tactical display. "The Vexcar are hesitating," she noted. "Their formations are breaking." Human ships darted forward and back, drawing Vexcar vessels out of position, then hitting them from unexpected angles. Council ships followed their lead, adapting quickly to the human tactics. Admiral Gordon's voice came over the comm. "Phase 2, all ships, begin the joke offensive." Every Allied ship began broadcasting toward the Vexcar fleet. Jokes, comedy, routines, and funny stories in multiple languages. Mixed with this were sounds that made no evolutionary sense together. Predator roars followed by gentle music, battle cries followed by children's laughter. The Vexcar communication systems were flooded. Their warriors, evolved to respond to clear threat or submission signals, found themselves unable to process the contradictory input. On the Council homeworld, civilians watched the battle through public broadcasts. At first, they had been terrified, but now many found themselves smiling as they listened to the human battle communications, serious military orders mixed with jokes and encouragement. "I don't understand," said a young Tralxian. "How can they joke while fighting?" Minister Ept, who had once feared humans, now watched them with wonder. "Because that is their strength. They feel fear but act anyway. They fight fiercely but remain kind. They are predators, but predators who protect others." The battle turned decisively when 3 Vexcar ships suddenly surrendered. They had never encountered an enemy they couldn't understand, and it broke their confidence. Within hours, War Chief Krasik's flagship was surrounded. The Vexcar commander appeared on screen, his black eyes confused and angry. "What are you?" he demanded of Admiral Gordon. Gordon smiled. "We're human. We evolved as hunters, but we learned to protect. We can fight, but we'd rather make peace. We face danger, but we laugh at it too. We're the predator with a joke, and that makes all the difference." After the Vexcar retreat, the Galactic Council created a new category for Earth. Humans were officially classified as a paradox species, the only known life form to evolve contradictory traits that somehow work together. Ambassador Zekthul presented the classification to Commander Harper in a formal ceremony. "Your species' unique evolutionary path saved us all," Zekthul said. "Who would have thought that the ability to laugh would prove to be the galaxy's most powerful weapon?" Harper smiled. "Well, Ambassador, that's the cosmic joke. Sometimes being an evolutionary mystery has its advantages.